Welcome to Scare Zone, Halloween Horror Nights podcast, and we are back with the latest announcement, our coverage of Hero Bart. Scott?
I'm here.
How the Halloween are you?
I have a question for you. You like head
Question
cheese?
for you about to answer now.
You like head cheese?
What?
You like head cheese?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
My brother makes it. You
What's
like
that guy's name?
They just call him Hitchhiker. I
The
believe.
Hitchhiker. I talked to him. He passed away, I believe, right?
No, he's alive. I just looked him up. He's got a
I think of the Exorcist writer. I talked to him also. When we first started
William
the show.
Peter Blatty?
Yes, because
Wow.
I have some weird connections to him because he was involved in a lot of...
Your exorcism.
No, he was involved in a lot of like Christian speaking and that kind of thing because he
makes sense.
wrote the book.
Yeah.
But
Literally.
at the same time, I reached out to that guy, Hitchhiker, because he was one of the, and we had a little brief discussion about him coming on. I don't think we ever had him on.
Really?
And I think that was because we were talking about the last time they did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, really? Yeah, which wasn't that long ago.
When was it?
Which we can get into. Well, I guess it was 6 years ago, right? No, 5 years ago.
Was it 20?
It would have been 2016. Because
Okay.
it was, I remember.
I was there.
Yeah.
But and was that, because again, this is the HHN blur. We
Well-
talk about it all the time. Was it based on, because there's been multiple iterations.
I didn't go
This
that
is where I
yet.
wish we
I was
had.
going to ask you that, but we should get to we should explain what we're talking about.
What we're talking about
first.
is there was two announcements. One we knew.
Yeah.
One was rumored, but honestly, I didn't really give it too much credit because we have seen it fairly
Because
recently.
they just did it. Yeah.
Which was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is back
Mm-hmm.
as a new house that's going to be at Halloween Horror Nights. And they announced it with a press release and a cool video that was put together that I really enjoyed. I thought was well done. My wife, not thrilled with this announcement. She hates chainsaws, will avoid them at all costs.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan, especially in an enclosed place. But
Yeah. And she hates the ones in the streets and all of that. So
chainsaw on the streets,
this is the 1974, right?
Okay.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
then it's the original.
The original, which is cool. Here's what I'll say. The last time they did it, I do feel like we were starting to get more the tradition of the way they did The Exorcist or the way they did any of the big poltergeist,
The Shining.
where you were Shining. You're walking through the movies.
Okay.
It didn't quite have that vibe. It was still Leatherface jumping at you with a, And if I remember right, they were not where the chainsaws out on the streets are chainsaws that are real without the the chain.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ones in the houses were props and sound effects.
So you're just hearing sound effects.
I think so,
I think that would make sense because they're still. I mean, they're
and it's a little noticeable because it's like
they're
this,
fuel.
Right.
Operate at least the ones outside.
right? So there's
Electric chainsaws don't quite make the same.
It just when you encounter those chainsaws in the streets and then you're enclosed with them, there's a little more of like this is a toy that they're coming at me with.
Yeah.
Still was fine. I don't have. This is one of those ones that of all of the classic horror movies from the 70s and 80s, and you can go back to the Carnival of Carnage year. It's kind of on the bottom of my list, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original, I think, is a classic movie. Obviously, it's Leatherface is up there with your Michael Myers, up there with your Freddys and your Jasons. But there's something about those three and Leatherface that I have a disconnect with.
Well,
I think there's no silly.
I was just thinking about this, and yes, there's no silly, there's no humor. I guess you could say there's really no humor with. Well, like Jason, there's no humor because he doesn't talk, but there's humor
it's almost
situations.
like in the way,
and he is wearing a hockey
way
mask.
he moves. Yeah, there is a artistry to it.
I think
and
there's something about
there's a campiness to it.
the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's forget the sequels and the prequel, everything. If you just take that original film, the Tobe Hooper film, which is based, it was inspired by real things.
Real thing, yeah.
Which I think that's your first thing is you watch this movie thinking this could all happen for the most part. Maybe a few things are far-fetched, but for the most part, you're like, this could really happen.
Yeah.
It was inspired to some degree by Ed Gein, who was a serial killer in Wisconsin in the 50s, who has inspired a legacy of horror movies. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, all credit the true story of Ed Gein. So there's that adds a little bit of weight, and they're real gritty. And also, like, the movie, the way, I went back and started rewatching it, and it's so crazy Just the first 10 minutes, the way it's shot, and
the way it's edited and
the quick
shot,
cuts,
it's an intense.
The performances, man. The guy that plays Franklin, the brother in the wheelchair, is just all over the map. I mean, it opens with him like going to relieve himself and rolling down a hill.
It's a wacky movie.
I mean, yeah, like, which is funny, except that it's not. You know.
Well, because you're right. It has that grit. It has that.
Yeah. But actually,
70s.
that's not the first. It opens on this like decaying corpse that's been set up as like an art installation in a cemetery by some grave robber, by the family, we're assuming. But, so I think that's why this one feels so much darker than those. This is also the first. Like, if you line up all these iconic horror slashers, for lack of a better term, I mean, you kind of.
Yeah, this is the 70s.
You can place them all like Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, and Leatherface in the same category, but Leatherface came first. This was 74. This is a year before I was born.
Yeah.
The only iconic...
like you said, it's a darker, more sadistic feeling. It's a just more disturbing feeling in that movie.
And it also ends with no closure. Like, which, I know the other ones all spawned sequels, so they kept coming back, but like... I was reading an article that pointed out how, like, this was the natural continuation of, like, a Psycho. Because before this, your most iconic horror icon would be Norman Bates, probably. Yeah. But Psycho seemed to have some resolution to some degree. You know?
Definitely, yeah.
This, spoiler alert to a movie that was made in 1974, there is no closure. Leatherface is alive in this movie.
Yeah, it's just
kind of running around the street with his chainsaw. Unless I'm forgetting something. He doesn't get hit by a truck or anything, right?
Not that I remember.
I know he's on the road. It's been a while since I've watched the whole thing. But so, all that just kind of adds to this sense of just dread to this character and to the legacy of this movie, which makes it an exciting haunted house.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
What they have to worry about is the maybe common issue that sometimes it comes out with a Halloween Horror Nights house, which is the endings sometimes are just kind of there. Sometimes these houses just end. You're like, wait, whoa.
Just at the door. Yeah, I have a feeling he'll be there spinning around at the.
Yeah, I'm saying it's an easy way to just wrap it up. When the ending of the thing is like, no one has to you don't have to have an end of Leatherface. Yeah. It could just, it ends creatively.
I mean, you can tell this movie inspired a lot of people. I mean, I was watching, like I said, the beginning of the movie, I'm thinking, I bet this movie totally inspired Trent Reznor. Like, I'm thinking of the video for like Hurt, and stuff. I'm like, it feels like Texas Chainsaw Man. Yeah. And like,
that guy then went on and directed Jesus Freak, the music video.
Who did?
The guy who directed Hurt.
Oh, really?
I believe.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. About the same time.
It was a controversial thing in 90s Christendom.
Now you just made me think of something. Toby Hooper directed a crazy music video I saw in like 1983, and I can't remember what it was. Something totally out of character. But, and then I was thinking how at the end of House of a Thousand Corpses, like, has a very similar ending to Texas, where you think, oh, she made it. She gets in the car. She's safe. And then, like, Captain Spaulding pops up in the back car. Anyway, all that is to say, I kind of felt the same. When they first announced it last week, I was like, okay. I felt the same as you. That was the last Halloween Horror Nights that I didn't go to before I started going, was 2016. But I remember that they did it. I was like, they just did this recently. And also, I'm like, I'm just not that excited about chainsaws popping out. But then, like, kind of thinking about it and starting to rewatch the movie, now I've become very excited about it.
Okay.
About the history of the character and the movie and stuff. It's like, okay.
I think there's always a place for the iconic horror characters.
It's just strange.
Would I prefer Freddy, Jason, or Michael Myers? Yes. But because I feel like that is more Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is more associated with a Halloween movie than maybe the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, it feels like a summer movie to me because it feels sweaty.
It's very sweaty.
It's a sweaty movie.
That's all Franklin says the first 10 minutes. It's so hot. It's
maybe
so
that's
hot.
what I'm thinking of, yeah.
And there's no AC in the van.
But it feels like a summer horror movie.
And they can smell the slaughterhouse. Can you imagine a slaughterhouse in summer in the 70s? Oh. If the house smells like that,
Slaughterhouse in the summer in the 70s it's like a tongue twister.
Yeah, really. Say it 10 times real fast.
Slaughterhouse in the summer in the 70s.
But I agree with you that it's like, okay, you just did this like 5 years ago. We had Michael Myers 3 years ago or 2, whatever it
Halloween
was.
4.
18. Yeah. For Halloween 4. Now, and it's also I guess it was surprising. You would think like the next in the lineup, if you're going to go to one of the icons, would be, okay, now it's time for Jason again or somebody or Freddy. But Which I have to. There is a cynical voice in my head that's like, was this always planned, or did they just need to recycle? Do they need something quick? You know,
Yeah. Like, we got a house.
We got the stuff. You know.
Yeah.
But I doubt they. I don't know.
It'll be different.
That would be weird if they did that, and especially if, like if you're kind of intimating that maybe now this one will be much more closer and
like an immersive film
to
walkthrough.
being in the film, not just him popping out everywhere.
Yeah.
Then I'm all on board for that.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, a lot of people I think were surprised because one of the big rumors is Halloween 3 as a house, which has all but been confirmed in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, people have taken pictures of the Silver Shamrock logo on the building. Yeah, people.
Somehow there's drones involved.
Yes.
You know? It's like,
Yeah, exactly. They've got really good shots.
Yeah.
Really good access.
Yeah.
Those leakers. So it seems that Halloween 3 is going to happen out west. But
that's pretty normal. That one would happen out west and then move its way the next year.
Right, exactly.
We've seen that like on repeat now.
I'm still fully expecting. Well, no, we kind of talked about this. Is this then the 5th IP?
That's what I was curious. Is this it?
So we won't, unless they do 6 IP. Wait, because how many IP houses do we have now? We got Bride,
which we haven't talked about. They announced that.
Hill
Bride,
House,
Beetlejuice. So that's 4. So I guess there's one still.
Isn't there one more, or is that it? Is that all we know so far?
No, the only ones we know is Puppet Theater.
Puppet Theater and the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still got 4
Maybe
announcements to go. Oh, and we know. I mean,
and no Scare Zones.
Do we want to say this since it's everybody knows? I mean,
we'll talk about it. Sure.
Okay, Scary.
The
Welcome to Scary.
Scary.
Hasn't been announced, but again, pictures have been leaked.
Videos of very close.
Yes. People have gotten very close to the set.
Yeah, like should be thrown out of the parks forever, kind of thrown out.
If they're really leakers, yes.
If not, then
if they're not on the payroll.
Yeah. Adam the Woo gonna call somebody
and then really,
it's
like, I got kicked out for something 5 years ago. And that's going to be in the Men in Black tent. It looks like, right?
Yeah, it's like out in play. This is not a show. We will cover it when it's officially announced.
Yeah, we're not spoiling anything
because
you don't already know.
Because we don't know what it is.
No,
it could be
a
retrospective house. It could be a news story in the Cary, Illinois franchise, if you will. Mm-hmm. We don't know. But beyond that, we do know that not only was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre announced, but also which I liked that they did, because you said you didn't want the next announcement just be Bride of Frankenstein.
Right. Give us something. So that they tacked it on, which makes me think they'll probably tack Tooth Fairy onto something new.
Yeah.
When they make that announcement as well. That's great. I'm totally in on that.
Yeah, and they put out a really cool video for
and we know there's a Jack house too. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
So
but they've announced Jack.
They say it's going to be everywhere.
Really a defined situation.
Sure, I guess we really don't know. I'm glad in a way that they're doing that.
But they put out a cool trailer for The Bride of Frankenstein. There's a trailer also for Leatherface and for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's not near as fun. This is a really fun, over-the-top trailer using either they reshot it this year or they shot it last year. It is nice to see the bride without a mask on.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
let's hope it stays that way.
I think it will. I think in Florida you're good to go. But we'll see. We'll see. But again, this is Universal Monsters: The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. And we all know it. We all love it. A lot of us did it last year. If you didn't have the opportunity, don't spoil it. Don't go watch a YouTube video, even ours, and go see it, because it really is a wonderful.
I didn't film anything in the house.
Oh, that's true. It's a wonderful experience.
They told us we could, man, and I was like, no, I started to, and it was like,
yeah, I took a couple pictures.
I want to absorb this.
It was one of my favorite houses.
Oh, I'm so excited to be able to do this again.
That's the weird part. I am as excited, if not more excited, to do The Bride of Frankenstein Lives again than I am to do pretty much anything else.
Oh,
maybe Beetlejuice I'd put on that level of it'll start next time. Maybe Beetlejuice, just because I didn't get to experience it.
Yeah, we didn't do that one.
But more than Chainsaw, more than Haunting of Hill House, more than some of these I haven't done yet. Now that could change, obviously, night of, and be like, well, that was so much better. But I'm genuinely just as excited as I was last year, even after doing it, to do The Bride of Frankenstein Lives, because we loved it so much.
Oh, and it's gonna be kind of new for us again, because I'm assuming the plexiglass will be gone.
You would assume so, and you also assume that some of those, in some of the setups we're utilizing the plexiglass.
Yes,
so
of course.
there will probably be some new
There'll be some new
gags
stuff.
and jumps and more actors.
Oh, there's a scene in that trailer where she's working on him, and then she like turns just as the vampire bride's about to attack and grabs her by the throat. She's like stuck. Oh, I'm so excited because remember we got stuck at that one scene, the biggest scene of the house.
Yeah,
and we got stopped in front of it because they were social distancing, so we had to wait. So the scare actors just kept doing their thing.
Yeah.
Because they're on a loop. The soundtrack's on a loop. So we got to see it over. And so we got to look at one time I got to just watch her. One time I just watched him. One time I'm watching them. I'm not saying who. Don't watch the video because I did point. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just, it's such a good house. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, that one I'm just thrilled. I am happy, like I said, they announced something with it.
And when you do go, it's full of Easter eggs. There's even another classic monster in the house.
Yeah, it's a tribute not as much, but to just Universal monsters. Because as we discussed it on a previous show, it's an original story.
Yes,
it's a sequel,
which is almost why I even question calling it an IP house because it's like it's so original.
And it's their own IP.
But they did the same thing with the Universal Monsters house last time, even though they completely reinvented it.
I think this was a much better. I mean,
because
this
has a story. I mean, this has a narrative from start to finish,
and it's got a classic vibe.
Like the Universal Monsters house was, here's a scene of Frankenstein, here's a scene of Dracula. So there was no
in their new metal glory.
There was no narrative. This, I mean, it starts off where Bride of Frankenstein the movie ends, and then like gives you a fully fleshed out story, all the way to the end.
4 minutes, it's pretty great.
There are moments where I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but I know where we're heading. So it's great, man. It's such a good house, and I mean, Chainsaw. I'm getting more excited the more I think about it. Okay, so there's 4 IP houses as of right now. Beetlejuice, Haunting of Hill House, Bride, and Texas Chainsaw. Right now, and I did start watching The Haunting of Hill House. This past weekend? Yeah. I tried watching it last weekend. I just wasn't in the mood, so I started it again this weekend. I'm gonna hang in there. I don't immediately love it like so many other people did, but I'm gonna hang in there. It's a great cast, so and the effects are cool, but it's a little, I don't know.
I want them to do a deal also with Netflix and do Hubie Halloween. That's all I want.
I've seen a lot of people saying that.
Really?
That would be. If they threw that surprise out, I'd be. I mean, come on, no one has seen that coming.
There's no way that's ever happening. I think that I think it's a movie that after a couple of years will start getting more love.
Yeah,
because I feel like I saw a lot of people hate it, but then the people who loved it have really kind of kept it going. I mean, like the reviewers were wrong. It's fantastic.
We'll see. We'll see if it becomes a huge thing this Halloween.
I'm watching it again for sure this Halloween. I was Hubie for Halloween. Like I love that character. And I loved that movie, but also I'm a Sandler nerd. I love all of his movies practically.
So I think if I had to rank it, like the least anticipated right now is Haunting of Hill House, and then.
But I have no doubt it is going to be.
I'm not saying it's not going to be good. I'm just saying
a beautiful experience.
Yeah, I'm still most excited for The Bride of Frankenstein. I've already seen it, and then probably Beetlejuice and Chainsaw are a close tied for second.
Yeah, and if there is a Jack House, I'd put that up there.
Let's just
assume there is. It is weird now that we assumed in the last episode, of course, there's a Jack House.
Because they said he'll be everywhere.
Did they say there was? We need to go back and look because it's weird on the website.
There's nowhere you can hide. Haunts you at every turn is all it says.
Is there, like the Jack button is kind of gone.
The Jack button? Didn't you get what did the press release say? You have the actual press release.
Give me 12 seconds.
Okay, I will read this. Here's what's on the website. The one sentence: if you know me, you fear me, yet frantically await my return. If you don't, you're in for it, as all three of my incarnations, Clown, Ringmaster, and Rockstar, return for Halloween Horror Nights 30. Don't let me catch you alone. But where's the part where it says...
There's a part. That's the show, the bar.
Yeah. I'll laugh at your screams as I emerge from the shadows when you least expect. My maniacal laughter and infamous quips echo everywhere. Jack returns. Start screaming now. There's a lot of...
Yeah, this says, unexpected Jack attacks. They'll send guests running for their lives.
Well, that could just be like scare zone type stuff.
It says, though, from the streets to the haunted houses to the places guests would least expect. So...
And from the haunted houses, so will he just show up in other houses?
That's what it sounds
Which would be
in my head, I read that as he has a house.
Yeah.
It says on the website, now in its 30th year, brings together terrifying haunted houses, centers of scared zones, some parks. Jack the Clown will be back, lunging from the shadows where you least expect. So that tells me it could just be a walk-around thing, and maybe they throw him in a house here or there, or he's in a restaurant.
Yeah.
So maybe there's not an icons. Icons. Well,
that's the other thing that everybody's speculating.
And icons are a Jack. What do you want to call it? Dedicated Jack specific house.
Was there no? So
I'd be kind of okay with that.
In 25, which was the last year that Jack was there, was there a dedicated Jack house?
There was an icon.
There was an Icon's house, right?
Yeah.
And he was obviously a part of that.
He was like the lead. Yeah. I wasn't there. That's the one I talked about. That's the one I missed.
Because your kids were born.
Yeah.
And this says his maniacal laughter haunts you at every turn, but that could just be on the sound. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but so yeah, we'll see.
Man, now I feel like this has turned into like a question mark, where I thought we were maybe they're right. Maybe we don't know what we're talking about.
We don't know what we're talking about. We should quit. Let's pack it in. It's weird. Like I was thinking, well, and then they've announced how many original. They actually haven't announced any original houses. They've just all been leaked.
We just know there's Puppet Theater, Tooth Fairy, and Scary.
Yeah. So there's already 3. They're going to be very uneventful announcements.
So. And look, I've said this. We don't usually talk rumors to the extent of going through a speculation map and all of that.
It's not a rumor when there's pictures,
right?
Or when
now we just can talk about it because everyone
or video
knows. And I don't know if it's intentionally leaking, unintentionally leaking, how these pictures and images are getting out there, or why. Like the scary one, the sign is out there.
Mm-hmm.
They are aware they could throw a tarp over this thing.
Yeah, and they're both Twitter accounts are troll. The Universal Twitter and they're trolling. They're almost telling us we're doing this.
Yeah. I mean, and again, we don't know, and I don't
want
to act like we know.
But it sure feels like.
But it feels like they are utilizing, which I understand, the fandom to get the word out there. With that being said, then fine, let's make some announcements here. Let's talk about it because we're only a few weeks away. We're talking 5 weeks.
Believe me, I'm like,
6
okay,
weeks.
how much time do I have to lose weight? Oh, it's getting closer.
6 weeks. You know? It is?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because it's. I mean, we're
almost in August.
It's July 19th.
We're over halfway through July.
So we have less than 2 weeks of July and then a month of August. So yeah. So about a month and 3 weeks, give or take. This is where I almost wish, with all these leaks coming out, it makes me kind of wish, like you had said, that maybe they'll just do an information dump on the website.
Well, Tuesdays are big for Horror Nights. So you know what? Maybe by the time you're hearing this.
When did they make this chainsaw?
I don't know. I'm talking about in history, not necessarily this.
Oh, okay.
Chainsaw was on.
No, it wasn't Friday.
I was gone.
You were gone. It was either Wednesday or Thursday because you texted me. I didn't even see it.
Yeah, and then I put it to a poll whether they wanted me to do a Zoom show or wait and do it all Thursday. Okay. Wanted me to do it all fancy like this, and everyone said, "Go fancy. We like your fancy show."
Fancy. All right.
And by everyone, I mean about 6 more people said we like it fancier.
We got there was traction.
No, I'm saying of the more people, it was a close race.
Okay.
More people though said they wanted this professional sounding looking show. So you got
as
me
opposed to it, yeah.
Opposed to me on Zoom.
Zoom shows in general are just tough. We're
kind of over it.
Even like some of our favorite podcasters, when they were doing Zoom shows through the pandemic, it was like, I just can't. No offense, I
want to be here with you, and sweat with you, talk about it.
And the amount of rich celebrities that don't have decent microphones just baffles me.
Yeah.
Can't you send your assistant down to Radio Shack? Well, they don't have wherever.
Send it down to Radio Shack. That was very Chicago.
Yeah, well, overbiter. Go down to Best Buy. Get you a Snowball, something.
Guitar Center.
Yeah. I mean, they're just doing them.
Amazon, same day.
I mean, I watched an interview with Jorge Masvidal, the UFC fighter, and he was literally sitting poolside talking into his Apple earbuds.
Well, that's kind of
on national television.
That's kind of cool, though. That's just more like
it was kind of cool, but also like really annoying.
I like it a little bit because he's a fighter. He's not like pretend. I don't like it when like the host even does it.
He didn't even get up to go to a quieter place.
No,
to talk to international television.
Like there's a water fountain. You're like, it's fine. It's
I keep looking in the monitors now because everyone commented that I looked slim on the last episode, and I said it's just trick photography.
I think just keep looking at me. I think that's a good angle for you.
Okay, I like looking at Team Bezos going into space, though.
I like Brother Bezos.
Brother Bezos.
It's like the twin brother. It's not really twin, but it's like
Zeppo Bezos.
He's taller. He apparently, I forgot. I looked up what he did. Was it Mike Bezos?
He hangs out with his brother, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So we've gone down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, maybe we should do a billionaire space flight house.
Space flight. Yeah.
You know, who
they did also release some new merch when they made the Chainsaw Massacre. Did your connection hook you up with some shirts?
No, I'm not going to wear that shirt. Though. I'm not wearing it.
I didn't see what it looked like. I just saw.
Actually, I didn't even see a chainsaw one.
Isn't that? I swear.
I saw the bride one.
Oh, maybe it was the bride one.
The bride shirt was cool.
Because I showed you. It was cool.
You brought up a good point.
Do I want to be nitpicky here? It's very
look,
cool.
I got the Jack shirt, and the Jack shirt's got the proper, lapel.
Yeah.
And then the big.
I kind of wish the giant graphic of the bride shirt was on the back, and just like HHN on the front or something. Yeah. It's just a lot.
Like the Jack shirt.
To be wearing on, I'm coming around. Look, my own T-shirts are my giant logo on the front, but
Well, yeah, and I'm more of a front big logo.
I mean, it's a lot though.
It's a lot.
But it's cool. I'm not complaining. It's a cool shirt.
I just like they're doing this. This is a fun way to keep I understand they make money from it.
And
but
by the way, every time they drop one of these new shirts at the parks, they're also on the website.
Yeah, quickly.
So you can get one.
But they're also,
or wait.
They're nominally making money off of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? People say, well, no, this is not a money grab from Universal in the sense of, how many of these shirts are they selling?
No, it's just to get people excited.
It's just to get people excited. I do love that.
It's to wet your whistle
I love
a little
that
bit.
there's something all year, and there's a sign. That means the fandom is big enough to where there's a sign. You want, Halloween Horror Nights preview merchandise here.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough people who are going to the parks on a regular basis understand what that means,
right? And
will go in and make a purchase. Pretty cool.
I do often. That's funny to say because it makes me wonder. Like whenever I see vlogs of that people put up when they're at Universal during the day during Horror Nights, and all the Scare Zone. Some of the props are actually still out.
Yeah.
Because they can't just take
I took
them.
Riker when he was 4, and it was a little weird. He was what is this disgusting?
I don't know what it's like for some of these people to just show up and have no idea what Horror Nights is. They're walking through what am I seeing?
And some of those big pumpkin things from last year are in the Williams of Hollywood
in the store.
And my son and niece were both like, whoa, because they're pretty intense.
Some of them were pretty bad. Yeah. Even the Chance one that was in there forever. I mean, it might still be.
It's gone, I think.
Oh, did somebody buy it?
Or it's just been moved.
Or they just finally, all right.
It's in that Lakeland antique.
We're getting weird inquiries about this. Yeah. I don't know. Why is there half a boat in San Francisco? That was actually the same year as Texas Chainsaw that they did. What was it called? Dead Man's Wharf.
Mm-hmm. I love that one.
Yeah. I would have liked to. I didn't go. I wish I'd have gone that year.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. They just had really cool helmets.
That's the last time you did a Scare Zone podcast meetup.
That's true.
At the old chocolate factory.
It's hard to do them.
Whatever it's called.
Because when we're there,
why'd you look at Toothsomes? That's right.
Because when we're there for media event or whatever, we've had the extreme kindness and pleasure to be able to attend.
Mm-hmm.
We have no time.
That's true.
You can't even move away from your group. We've seen Scott, and it's hey, sorry, gotta leave.
Well, yeah, because if you do, they'll be gone.
They'll be gone, and then you're out of your group, and all that. It's just like in a regular RIP.
Although we managed last time to find a little time, and a few other people.
Yeah, but to do a formal deal is harder.
Speaking of leaks, I saw also that they have a thing over the not Scare Zone. What's the show? Fear Factor sign.
Oh, really?
So it looks like they're getting ready to do something in that theater.
That'll be exciting.
Well,
that's what I like is that, though I think there have been some people throwing some stuff out. I do like that the scare zones in the show are usually kept fairly under wraps because there's not, the show, I guess there's more, but there's not as many people, I think, who work on them. There's not as many ways for them to leak out. And there's not the props in plain sight. There's not, scare zones are being developed. Yeah. You're not going to see them in the parks for a while.
That's true.
So I like that there is still some surprise of what's going to be in the scare zones.
Well, for a while, they'll probably in August start doing lighting and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you're already seeing some little.
Yeah.
Little, people start, there's people who walk around to take pictures of LED
That's
lights.
true, because they usually, if I'm not mistaken, then they usually announce all the houses first and then kind of
scare zones just kind of pop up.
They just pop
at
up
one time. Unless it's a big tentpole one, but even then, usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to have Tim walk around the park and he'd just say, I see a light.
Yeah.
There's a light.
He still does that.
He would do that for us.
I'm so excited or curious about what the big show is going to be. The big show. I wonder if will they put a Jack show in the in the theater?
We just did a Ed Sullivan.
And a really big shoe.
I noticed that I think there's that reference in Space Jam 2.
Really?
And there was part of it goes, does anyone get, like, the age group that's going to understand this is quickly dwindling.
I mean, there was a whole Steve Jobs reference. There was a couple Steve Jobs references.
Space Jam 2, it's like the script was developed 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Which maybe was.
When Don Cheadle's dressed as Steve Jobs, I'm like, does anyone even understand why he's wearing a black turtleneck?
It's for the parents.
Yeah, probably.
Because like my age group was like, hey, Austin Powers joke.
Hey, you know? Pennywise is watching the game. That's not weird at all.
Yeah, it's like the Bill and Ted show of,
really
of
is.
movies.
Again, this is the year they should bring back Bill and Ted.
Bring back Space Jam 2, or do Bill and Ted a new legacy, featuring
that would be funny.
LeBron and Bugs Bunny
and
Weird,
okay,
and Jack and Chaos Ensues. Yeah, Pennywise though. Yeah, there were some horror icons that were floating around that movie.
Where was the stage for the Jack show at 25?
Wasn't there, but if I remember right,
I keep forgetting you weren't there.
I think it's the same place it was for the Carnival of Carnage, which was where they used to have the Rock the Universe stage, which is across from Mel's Drive.
Okay.
Where they did Academy of Villains.
Which is pretty central when they were outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is
I
pretty
love that
centrally
spot.
located.
I used to go to Rock the Universe every year, the Christian Music Festival, and that was my favorite stage because it was slammed in, and you had a great view, and it's a cool spot. And it doesn't get where they've put stages. Sometimes they'll do it on the main stage they already have built. That's the big stage they do the concerts at for Mardi Gras, by the Rip Ride Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then also they used to put up a stage that was in New York and went all the way down, like facing, like the same way Jimmy Fallon faces, just further down, like out.
Okay.
In that stage, the audience would go on for miles, so it'd be hard to see. I love that area by Mel's, and there's some seating there. It's good.
I was going to say, I'm surprised they don't use the band shell, but they can't because that's always a line for a cue for a house.
It's where they shot a lot of the video for My Sacrifice.
Oh, right.
He's sitting there, the Mel's Drive-In.
When they flooded it.
Uh-huh. They flood. Yeah, that's the part over by Kong or whatever it's Mummy.
Oh, like Kong.
Beginning of that movie, he's like a big of that movie of My Sacrifice. It's like an old man. It's like Scott Stapp in the future.
Oh, I guess I've never actually watched the video.
Oh,
I'm not sure that I've ever watched any Creed videos all the way through.
Well, it's the best.
Really?
Because you'll be like, it's like watching the Fruitcakes video.
Well, that's different.
No, it's the same.
That's but better.
I mean, is it?
Well, I mean, it's relative.
Let's put on the Jimmy Buffett scale.
We could have been in that.
Creed. I mean, I was there when they shot the Creed video.
Well, all right.
Creed, My Sacrifice. Let's just go career. That song for Creed. Top 3.
Of course.
Fruitcakes.
Of course.
I mean,
not
of the hits.
I know.
Bottom level.
Not
I love
3.
it.
Right, but not top 3. I know.
Not top 3. So I think Creed, My Sacrifice, bigger than Jimmy Buffett Fruitcakes.
And an odd choice from a guy who barely did videos to begin with.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I love those videos too because you can tell that they have to. And I've obviously worked production at Universal. You have to shoot in the off hours because they're not closing down the theme park for you. During My Sacrifice, they did close off a portion, but that's when I think Kong had already closed and Mummy was not open yet.
Right.
So that section, it didn't matter that it was closed. You could walk around.
Nobody was over there.
But like Fruitcakes, it's like clearly this is shot at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
I was going to say, it was like
it looks so like, I think they did that. Maybe they show that like a behind the scenes video.
He released
one of those tapes. I had a tape.
He released a VHS called Tales from Margarita Vision, which Jimmy, if you're listening, and why wouldn't you be? Can you please put it out digitally? Because I love it. It's all on YouTube in pieces. But yeah, he sets that up and he says like to all the they put it out to all the fan clubs and stuff like come be at Universal at 5 a.m. or something stupid like that. It fully like you're going to a show and people showed up fully dressed.
Yeah, and if you look, it has a look of 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah,
like, everything's kind of gold.
I mean, the sun is literally coming up. He's driving the Jeep down City Walk and the sun is coming up. I don't know if it's City, wherever it's at.
It's right there in like the New York.
Was City Walk even there yet?
No.
92, 93?
Not until 99.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All
right.
Well, go watch the Fruitcakes video.
Strange diversion.
Go watch the My Sacrifice video.
That's true. I mean, I hope people understand what we're talking about. Both these music videos were shot at Universal in the park,
and they're both pretty iconic.
And
they
niche.
showcase the parks.
And they showcase anything that showcases the parks. Man, Sharknado 3.
Oh, this will be interesting. Which do you think has more YouTube views? Jimmy Buffett's official upload of Fruitcakes or the Creed upload of My Sacrifice?
I mean, I want to say
it has a shocking number for the Jimmy Buffett fruitcake.
my
video.
heart wants to say Jimmy Buffett.
How
but
many views do you think that video has? I have it right here. I can.
I mean, 100,000.
Almost 2 million.
Okay.
1.95 million.
Okay. And Creed?
That's a lot.
There's a lot.
I haven't looked at Creed one.
Oh,
Creed,
okay.
my sac. Oh, okay. Well, I think we have a clear winner. Creed, My Sacrifice official upload. Uploaded oddly. So the Jimmy Buffett one was uploaded June 16th, 2009.
Okay.
Creed, My Sacrifice was uploaded December 2nd, 2009, which is weird.
That's very weird. It's not when either one of the songs came out.
195 million plays of My Sacrifice.
Of Creed's My Sacrifice?
I don't think people understand. Has 838,000 thumbs up, 30,000 thumbs down. Creed wins.
I mean, and is it monetized?
It's a Vivo. No, it's just Creed.
I
would assume they get paid. Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is an insane.
It's Creed, people.
I mean, I love him. I've seen him 5-6
I
times
know,
in concert.
but good night.
Which I know that's going to be a tweet. Logan loves Creed. I
There's
do.
too
Orlando.
many. I mean, actually, last time we were at Universal, when we were walking up to the park, Fruitcakes was playing on the Coca-Cola
That's right.
Jumbotron thing.
Yeah.
So
It's in rotation. 195,654,813 views of My Sacrifice.
in
a long time, 12 years. 11
yeah, 12 years. You're right. I was trying to do the math.
Still averaging, what, 30 million a year?
That's crazy.
No,
I mean, that's generating a lot of money. They're not even
Why are we not
together.
Creed?
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
We're one step from hanging with Stapp. I've met him a few times.
Yeah, I feel like the Stab wouldn't be the problem.
No,
I feel like we probably could meet Stab.
No, I've interviewed him. He's a good guy.
It's the one that
He used to send Will's Christmas cards.
it's the one that used to be in the band with Burt Kreischer that won't admit it now.
Yeah, he's great though.
His name Tremonti, right?
Mark Tremonti.
Yeah.
Alter Bridge.
And then the dude from Married with Children was in the band too, right?
No, I know you always said.
David Faustino.
All right, we got to end the show. This has gone too far. Thank you guys for listening. Plug away, Bart. You got something to plug?
What do I got to plug?
I don't know.
Books.
The novella.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, for those of you,
who are well versed at the internet.
Yeah. So Amazon just went live with this thing they've been talking about for months called Kindle Vella. Don't ask me to explain how it works because I'm not entirely sure. But basically, it's serialized storytelling. So basically, authors can upload a book a chapter at a time, and you can choose to read it a chapter at a time. You have to. You have to buy tokens. Each chapter you have to pay a token to read.
Like V-Bucks.
Like V-Bucks, yes. I keep telling people it's basically like comic books without pictures because you're just getting a short snippet of a longer story each. And you can release it however you see fit. The first 3 chapters are free. I believe they said you can read the first 3 chapters for free. I need to actually try reading someone else's because I haven't yet. But
it is a story that people have been waiting for.
Well, no, a few people. So
what's it called?
So it's the sequel to my novel, The Cats of the Castle. This is called The Cats of the Castle: Dark Ages, which I started writing a couple years ago, and I've had a real hard time. And then when COVID hit, I had kind of an idea. So I think someone, it might have been Terry Weaver, said, "What are those cats doing during all this?"
It was me.
It was it you? Okay. So anyway,
pretty sure I have a text about it.
All right,
I'm just not taking credit. But
all right, fine. You want a percentage of my tokens?
Sure it was me. I was
all
like,
right.
hey,
we'll split those tokens.
Fun angle.
How do I split a half a token?
I'm good. You keep your token.
So anyways,
I got it now. I'm on the website. I'm reading it. Chapter 1.
So the first 2 chapters of The Cats of the Castle: Dark Ages it's the prelude and the first chapter are on Kindle Vella right now, which is interesting for me because I've had half the manuscript finished for a long time. So I've got a few months worth of content, but then I'm gonna have to start working on it again. So those of you that have been asking for this,
you got to go read it now.
Yes. Now you'll have to figure it out. I can't do the work for you because I don't know how this thing works either.
You can't really see it because of the way it's cropped. So I need you to post on social media, which you may have. The cover art is awesome.
Yeah, I did post it on Facebook.
JJ, okay, because it crops it. You can't really see it.
Even when you open it up,
it's like
I hoped it would open up.
It looks like a Twitter.
I don't know why they do that. Okay, well, then I had to figure something else out.
But it's a really cool piece of art.
Yeah, that's Jackie who does all of our graphic design.
Yeah, she's so great. And I mean, you need that as a poster in your office.
It is cool. I mean, even if the book never exists, she made an amazing cover for that.
Do it for the poster.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
And then, of course, Horror Nights fans, pick up my book, Emily Moonlight, under B. Andrew Scott on Amazon. I mean, it's fun horror, and it's specifically written by a Horror Nights fan for Horror Nights fans, you could say. So check that out. And if you have read it, please give it a nice review, a 5-star review at Amazon. And that's my plug, and my podcast, The Sasquatch Lounge.
And what I will plug is if you're looking for a place to stay while you're going to Halloween Horror Nights or any other Orlando adventure, check out my Florida Orlando area luxury rental vacation home and reunion resort. It is the world famous EarBNB. Go to EarBNB.com to book your stay right now. Rates are about to go up. Some have already gone up just because the demand to go to Orlando is crazy. And obviously that makes expenses go up. Things change. So if you want to book, I would book it now. We are booked all the way right now through mid-August. There's a couple weeks in August. September's got a couple weekends open. October's got very limited. So if you want to book it, this is a great time. You're going to save a boatload of money. I'm just going to tell you that compared to if you're staying on property these days.
Maybe we should set up like a photo op in the house for them, just like they're doing at Cabana Bay.
I like that. Yeah, you could have. We thought about doing fun. I mean,
we'll do
we
a chainsaw photo. I'll just come out of the closet with a chainsaw and a leather face.
Yeah, you can pay.
You like head cheese?
You can pay Bart to do that.
Yeah. So, did you know the movie was almost called Head Cheese? That was one of the working titles.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't. I don't feel like we would be talking about it now.
Have you ever had head cheese?
Okay, let's leave it alone.
Pretty disgusting.
No. Visit EarBNB.com. Thanks for interrupting my ad read there, Bart. No, I'm kidding. I interrupted yours. EarBNB.com. Book your stay, but you could either just straight book or contact me if you have any questions, or if you're like, hey, I want pool heat. We can talk about it. What is cool, if you're looking for a place to lounge during the day, now included in the price is unlimited access to the Reunion Water Park, which if you want a good place to chill, have a pina colada in a beautiful straw-free environment.
Get caught in the rain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Go to EarBNB.com. All right. Until next time, and as always, keep your eyes closed, your ears open, and we'll see you at